Planning and information session is now called to order. At this time, we look to our city's attorney for our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on us. Melt us, mold us, fill us, and use us to do thy will. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you would bless this commission, lead them and guide them as they make decisions for the citizens of the city of Waycross. Yes. And Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over us and forgive us for our sins and trespasses against you. And unto him who is able to keep us from falling and to present us faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise God be glory and majesty, dominion and power, now and forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank our city attorney for our invocation and leading us in our pledge. At this time, we look to our city's clerk. Do we have any guests?
No, sir, we do not.
No guests. Now we turn the remainder of our program over to our city manager, Mr. DeGray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we have no travel training scheduled for training requests. We'll start the planning information session, and we'll start with bids. The 2024 paving improvements, and it'll be done by the Finance Director, Mr. Greg Smith. Bids.
All right. I've got one bid to present to the commission. This is for 2024 paving project. The funding source is 2018 T-Splosh. This paving will include Brunel Street, Gilmore Street, Kentucky Avenue, Nichols Street, Old Brunel Street, Palmetto Road, Parkway Drive, Solomon Street, Washington Avenue, and the Garlington Heights area. It'll also include storm, sewer, water improvements, and it'll be headed by the engineering group of ESG Engineering. 3 bids were received from East Coast Asphalt of Douglas, Georgia, Thrift Brothers of Waycross, Georgia, and the Scruggs Company of Hayhire, Georgia. The lowest and best bid was East Coast Asphalt with a total cost of $2,560,606.21. The recommended action is award the paving project to East Coast Asphalt. And that's all I have. We've got the engineer here if you have any additional questions.
And Mr. Mayor, before you ask the questions, just to kind of go back to why this is on the agenda again. So we did go back and sit down with the team and look at a few things that we had questions within the engineering department, and those questions were answered. So we're good with that. The only thing left now is I'm gonna let Mr. Charles speak on that, Mr. Bridges speak on that. But we do have some money left over, and we got to kind of see the legal aspect of that because it is over. I think it's $1 million left over. With that $1 million, we got 2 options. I definitely want to stay within the framework of the 70-30 rule that we voted on some months back. But staying with that, it will only be able to do one road, and that's I think it's Scrivens, and that would probably cost the remaining $1 million. Now we could, with the commission's input, step over Scrivens and do about 5 other roads, smaller segments. They will probably come up to that same amount. And that's and within those 5 other roads, it's other roads outside. It's more districts in those roads. I say it like that. So it will cover some of the districts that didn't get the roads up front. So it will be a victory either way. I just want to make sure that the commission is aware of that. Now I know normally we said we will stay within the echelons of the robotics and the GDOT information that we had. And that's the will. We can do that. It's just that Scrivens Road, I know it's important too, because it is damaged Perhaps, and we're gonna have to look at that soon. Maybe we just hit the damaged parts of that road and cut down some of the costs, and we'll try to figure it out too. But just want the commission to be aware of, kind of the course of action they have presented to them now with that cost of savings that we had. And Mr. Bridge, can you come up real fast and explain the additional roads for me?
Good evening.
Mhm.
So, as Mr. Rayford was saying, our bid amount is roughly 2.5 million. The budget is 4.5 million. That gives us $1.9 million left in this T-SPLOST fund. Cost estimate on Screven Avenue is 2.6 million by itself. And then moving down the robotics list from there is G Street, Norwood Street, Jones, Ware, and Palm Beach. And those 5 streets would total roughly the 1.9 million that we have remaining in our T-SPLOST budget. So, like Mr. Rayford was saying, we can do parts of Screven Avenue. It would be the next street on the list, or we could skip Screven and then go do those other 5 streets with the remaining funds.
And I think if you recall, I know Commissioner Nelson wasn't here when we talked about this and first made this agreement. I did mention that money would be a factor as we moved on, especially when you determine utilities with them streets. So just to kind of go back to that, but I fully understand everybody wants you to stay within the actual list, and that's fine too. But either way we go, I think Scrivens is, I want to say District 4, but within the rest of those, it's 4 and 5. Matter of fact, both all the way down. But if we did those other 5 streets, it would still be streets in 4 and 5 that would get done. So we wouldn't move away from, I guess, street district integrity, but we will get more for the bang of our buck. And it's important right now that we do make a decision on this as soon as possible, because, and I'll hit this when we go to the resolutions, but with all that's happening right now with the storm, it's going to be high bid now for road improvements. So the longer we wait on this, the more likely a company will move on to who's ever wanting to get stuff done right now. So that's just the fact of what's going on up the entire East Coast and down the East Coast in Florida after the storm. So I'll stop there for any concerns or comments from the commission.
Commissioner, do you have any comments? Commissioner Nelson.
What, if we paid part of that, what remaining streets could we pave other than that street?
Of Screven?
Yes.
I'm sorry. G Street. So this is just moving right down the robotics list. G Street, Norwood Street, Jones, Ware, and Palm Beach. I came up with those just because of the estimate that we've done on those already. Totals roughly the 1.9 million that we have remaining in that budget.
So if we did part of Scriven, the worst parts, the money's left over can do roughly.
I'll need to look at that, and that's a really good question. We didn't design the improvements on Screven because we knew we weren't going to have the money to get to it, or we thought we weren't going to have the money to get to it. So that would be probably the first thing to do is go evaluate Screven and see if we did the worst parts, how much money would that take, and then how much would we have left.
It is pretty bad though. Scriven is pretty bad.
Yes, sir. And the problem is Screven's roughly 2 miles long just by itself. Yeah. It's a super long road, and that's why it's so expensive to get it repaired.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Bennett.
those streets that you named, any of them in District 2?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't have the.
It's not. And I'm all for everybody having their streets paved, but there are several streets in District 2 that needs to be looked at. I stress that even from day one, I named all the dirt roads that I could think of, not just in District 2, but also in the other districts. But yet, nothing in District 2. Our people need their streets paved as well.
Yes, ma'am. This is based solely on the robotics list that we did. So I'm just going down the list as the worst streets in the city based on the robotics evaluation.
Yeah, and Commissioner, so now the other streets that we mentioned earlier, some of those are District 2. We're just talking about just once you go through these first 5, the money left over doing the next list. And we did agree upon this is the list. like I said, we can go back and look at it, but I don't want to start jumping around because we did evaluate all the streets and roads. And this is the paved list, not the dirt road list. The dirt road list has a little bit of money left too, so we'll be able to get a couple more streets on that as well. But that can be a small adjustment in the contract. This will be a big one because we are trying to renegotiate, $2 million. So I'm not sure if we do it on our level or take the full commission vote. But I understood both commissioners' viewpoint. Just want to make that clarity on what we decided to a while back.
And just a couple of things. Listening to what we said earlier, and I know we were on the floor the last time sitting down,
Mhm.
and one of the concerns that we had was we didn't want to do patches or portions of roads because it actually, at some point, is going to cause some struggle with the other, that same road is going
Yes.
to start suffering. So we were just concerned then, and I don't know what the commission will say in days to come. But I know if we do just a portion of that street, it may cause more struggle than it would be help. It may be wiser, based on your conversation, to do the 5 roads that are smaller and lesser, and it's within that budget, and get that done. And then once that's done, then redirect any other funding that comes in toward that Scriven Avenue. But that's just a thought.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. Well, that's the 2 options, and I guess tomorrow we can discuss it in detail with full commission here and kind of go from there.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we move to the discussion items, and the first is the ARPA utilization change. And I'm still trying to work this, but I did go back and look at what funding was available once we kind of cleared some of our due outs. So once we pay for some other items, it's going to leave us with around the 83,000 that I mentioned before that will be going towards this building here as far as maintenance and cleanup. And then roughly about 320,000 will be left over from the ARPA period that still needs to be appropriated. I do have some places to appropriate that money. Right now, it was scheduled for 26,000 for water and sewer. We would have $150,000 left from the transportation plan, but that was originally scheduled for 250, but we're going to have with the county, so that we leave half of that. The water study was originally budgeted for 100,000. We're paying for that for 17, but we use the other funds to pay that, so we got that whole 100,000 left for that. And then and that's it for us. What's left over. So I will have a list at the next meeting in November. I'm trying to get some quotes on some things that we might need, and some of these and some things that the commissions have mentioned in the past. Some stuff for downtown. A few other items that we didn't ever have the money for that we might look at. So and back to the overall conversation. So the money's been appropriated. We were buying the side-out lawnmower with these funds. So a lot of things will still come out of the ARPA, but this is the money that was left over. So hopefully I'll have that list. Well, I'll have a list in November for you to kind of look at. If you have any other suggestions, like I said, a lot of money, but a small amount of money if we're trying to spread it too thin. But if the commission has any more suggestions about where to put that money, can let me know. A few things, like I said, we'll be adding to. I'm looking at some contract work to kind of get a lot of our paperwork scanned in. We're way behind on that still. So I think that's I think Mark found a quote for that. That might be $30,000 for that contract. For this, we do need to scan our paperwork in because we're way behind on stuff like that. So most of this money will be going to stuff like that, just to kind of catch up on stuff that's been neglected for a few decades. So I'll pause there for any questions.
What's our total amount of monies left over that you made mention of?
So it's going to be 300,000, 326,000, and $723. And then with the interest, which is separate that we get on it, it's going to be right now. It's probably a little bit higher than this, but 83,000. That's the interest we collect. We collect every month for that.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner, did you have any questions of our city manager?
No, sir.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to the millage rate. I'm gonna start here, but I'm gonna let the finance director kind of speak on it in further detail. So, I think they're still doing some assessment, but they went ahead and gave the go ahead to kind of put this out because we do need to kind of put this to a vote. The so what is, if you look at it, I hope the citizens can see on the screen out there. It'll be a rollback if y'all vote on it, but the millage rate will go down. It was 11% technically, and now it'll be 8%, which is pretty good for our citizens. And you can see that on your chart right there. Secondly, we did get some revenue from behind this, and revenue came mostly because we did get the property evaluated the way it should be. So we gained another $250,000 roughly that'll go back into the budget. So I know initially when we started this process, there was a lot of bad vibes when we first did it, but the county did a great job working with the appeals and doing some reassessment. So in the end, we did come out on top. The critical thing here is, and I'm gonna let Mr. Smith explain this. We need to go ahead and get this on vote as soon as possible, because I think we only need one vote, if I'm correct now, because we roll it back, yes, one vote versus 3, and want to be in line with the county, so it all takes effect when it does.
One meeting.
One meeting, yes, my bad. One meeting, you have to do one meeting to get it voted on, and that way, as I mentioned before, it would be it would be an amendment to the budget as well. We got to put this into the budget numbers as well. We'll figure that out as we move forward. And I'm gonna pause there and let Mr. Smith come up and kind of discuss anything that I might have missed.
Yeah, the tax commissioner contacted me at the end of last week, and that's one reason why it wasn't in your package we emailed out to you. But I put 2 sheets of paper on your desk before this meeting. The one that's half a sheet is what's up on the screen. And if you look at the last column, the 4th row from the bottom is what the proposed millage rate is of 8.748. And as you can see, the immediate left of that, the millage rate for last year that the commissioner approved was 11.0130. And one way to say it is, the values went up, but we're lowering the millage rate, so it's not considered a tax increase at all. And then the other sheet I give you. Wrong one. Sorry. Is that it, Patrick? Yes. All right. This is the most important line. The most important line on this to me is the one on the middle of the screen on the right in red, 0. It shows a percentage tax increase of 0. So that reinforces what I said. And I got both of these schedules from the tax commissioner. So, even though the rates, the appraisals went up, with the rollback, it's not considered a tax increase. And this is what I put in the budget too, is not showing a tax increase. And the tax commissioner asked that we approve this month, and we've got to put the previous schedule in the newspaper and give the citizens notice that we're having a meeting. And looking at the calendar, the October 30th may be the optimal time. We could do it the 31st, and to have the commissioners have a called meeting to approve this before the end of the month. That's all I have. Got any questions or comments?
And Mr. Mayor, we can got a full commission tomorrow. We can vote on that tomorrow if y'all would like. If everybody's here, we do it tomorrow. But the sooner the better. Any questions on that, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner? Like I said, good thing for all our citizens. In the end, I know, like we said initially, it was quite confusing. I know next year we'll probably get out there and put better communication out to everybody so they better understand stuff.
Okay. I just noticed that we rolled back a little further than we did the last time, so
Right.
about 3 points.
Yeah, good thing, like I
Very
said.
good.
Our citizens. Any additional questions, Mr. Mayor?
No.
Next, this will be a quick update on the recovery effort. So a few things there. They started picking up the big debris last week. Actually, last weekend they started. And y'all all know we have multiple organizations going around assisting citizens to get that debris to the right of ways. We have put out asking citizens, and I say it again, if you can not put the trees on top of our meters or underneath utility line or top utilities or underneath power lines, it'll make it much easier for the trucks to come pick the things up, trees up. Additionally, some locations, because of the size of the trucks, they will not be able to get in to pick the stuff up. They do have smaller trucks that will be coming in to do that, as well as the city coming in at a later date to kind of fence it off. So those individuals out there who see trucks might be driving by within the neighborhood, we did ask that they be patient. The trucks will come back on multiple runs. It is a 2-month process. I think we put that out initially. It's gonna be about 2 months to get everything picked up and removed. So it will be coming to your areas. So just once again, just move the stuff as close as you can to the right of way, particularly not in the street, because we are creating a safety hazard right again. The Public Works Department is going around putting stuff back on the right of ways to make it easy for the trucks to get through, first of all, and safety vehicles to get through. So if the citizens kind of can just help us out with that, it'll make the process, which is already moving fast, move that much faster. So that's one thing. We're also going to keep updates through our social media posts for the numbers to call when you're requesting help. And my Public Works Director is riding around kind of assessing what areas might need additional help. So like our alleyways and stuff like that. I know the commission has been getting calls about who owns what trees. So we're doing an inventory right now to verify if it's the city, and pretty much the city doesn't have any properties like that. But we will get in contact with those owners outside the city. As a reminder, that's a litigation matter between citizen and citizen. The city can't get in with that. So that would be, i.e., if a tree fell off from your neighbor's yard to your house, that's citizen to citizen. We can't really help with that. But if it's a lot where a house was cleared, you can definitely do the Q Public to find a citizen out, or come up to community improvement, and they'll let you know who that person is too. So you can tell your citizens kind of do it that way. It'll be faster trying to find who the person is versus call us, because we got a lot of cleanup going on. That's the major part of the recovery. Like I said, we are on social media answering questions. So or the app, or email, or telephone. So citizens still can ask questions if they have questions. I know some people are just not coming on board about what's going on. So we'll definitely keep on reposting the same information, but it's kind of catching up with everybody, those who were initially out of power, along with the others. So I'll pause there for any questions about anything as far as recovery, or anything you would like us to do differently as far as the recovery.
Just a comment, and I know the commission may have comments as well, but one of the comments that I had was some of the citizens that are county and city are confused as to where they're to be. Say, for instance, they don't know that they're in what district. They don't know what portion of the city, if they're in the city at all. Some are calling in for assistance for their area, but that is not under the jurisdiction of the city. It's outside the city's limit.
So on that, Mr. Mayor, I would just rule number one: just move your stuff to the right of way, regardless of either in county or city. No put on the power lines, avoid utilities. Now it's a little different with the county. So next month, once they do all these run-bys, and the county's already going through identifying addresses that need to be picked up, it's kind of way out there. But a little different in the county. I don't want to speak too much for them. They have a meeting right now discussing this, but they will get a separate call-in number, because we recognize, we talked about this at the AAR, last year, this time frame, some of the county citizens were so far out that we did not know they were out there, meaning us, the county and the city, with a joint contract. So they did a great inventory this year, so they do know they're out there. If they're just confused, just put your stuff out there. Don't worry about who's picking it up, because it's a city-county contract. It will get picked up. And I will speak on the county's behalf on this. Just like Public Works now, once it's all done, we will make another sweep through to make sure everything's picked up. So they don't need to call anybody right now. They just need to get their stuff close to the right of way. Now, if they need help for the right of way, those 2 numbers, actually 3 numbers now, that's online. Check the county page and our page, and we'll repost it today. Just still call that number if you need help getting the tree from your yard to the right of way. That is different, regardless of where you live, city or county. But to ease their nerves, it will get picked up. So it just might see other stuff getting picked up first. if that makes sense, Mr. Mayor.
So just looking at a couple of things, and one of them happens to be the disaster number, which is out there as well. So
Yes.
let them know that they do have a disaster assistance if they'd like to call that 1-800 number that would be connected to our page.
Yes. I think we did a post on that this morning as well as the county. So that's the third number. So they have 3 numbers they can call and get help. Now the recovery personnel, that's a weekend thing. So everybody that comes in and helps out, they only come in on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So during the week, you know, it's still neighbor to neighbor. And just for clarification, the city cannot go on anybody's property and help that way. Now, not in the capacity of the city. Now, if we got employees that's on their own, that's different. But nobody in capacity of representing the city can go on private property and help move trees. Make that clear to everybody. Once it gets to the right of way, we can help out then as far as getting it to the truck and get loaded, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Any questions on the recovery, Mr. Mayor? You said the commission had a question. Okay, Mr. Mayor. Next, we're gonna move into this cities. I'm calling it City 101. Of course, this kind of goes back from some of the comments we got from the surveys as far as the role of the city. And we've been talking about this for some time. We've just been getting pressed, but we are putting it together. We're gonna shoot for a January lunch date. It's gonna be a week-long process, and what it'll be, we will do 2 hours up here in the chambers. Up here in chambers, a class for all those citizens that kind of lined up. We'll do the first time, and from the first one, we'll gauge how many times we want to do it. Right now, I'm thinking maybe quarterly, but it'll be broke down as such. It'll be a 5-day course, and the first day will be strictly on the charter, and we'll tell them what the charter is, how it works, you know, all the stuff assigned to the charter. The next day will be roles and responsibilities, and that's mainly talking about what the mayor does, what the commissioner does, what the city manager does, what we all do, functional role. It will make some comparisons at the state and federal level, how we all connected to give all our citizens a better understanding of our roles and responsibilities. I think had they known this, even for the storm prep, they could have better understood using you, Mr. Mayor. Your primary role is up and out, get us the call and get help. And I think citizens could appreciate the effort better. They had kind of known that. Same thing with the commissioners on what their functional role is. So we're definitely going to make sure that's better understood. The next day will be budget. And we got some great, Mr. Simmons has created some great videos for the budget. And that's just important in general to make sure everybody understands how the taxes actually work. I know there have been some comments so far in our surveys about us not budgeting for certain items. And once they see our 18 accounts, they'll better understand we can't budget for certain stuff. Most cases illegal. So, but gotta get them better clarification moving forward on what we can actually budget for, what the budget actually is, which is important. And that way the citizens know where the tax dollars are going. And then the Thursday or the fourth day to be staff operations. And that's when we start breaking down police department, public works, fire department, HR, all the staff sections and what they actually do. And the last day will be kind of meet the team. That's when they'll meet the mayors and the commission, stuff like that, and kind of get your feedback directly from the mayor and commission, myself and select staff members, some of the department heads. And that'll be the last day. So I think this is important because just looking at some of the feedback during the recovery phase, a lot of stuff was just not understood on the role of government, and not just because of the storm, but just in general. We've been talking about this for some time, the need to really explain how this works, so that way people can, when they hold us accountable, they can understand why they hold us accountable and how they should. So we're going to try the first iteration, like I said, in January's lunch, and we'll send out a link for those that want to sign up. I'm not sure of how many people will be in the course at this time. It'll be strongly video led, and then be discussion after that, and then answer some questions. So I just want y'all to know that was coming, because I know you get a lot of questions about roles, who does what and why, and then you get questions about the budget. And I think, if we can get 4 iterations done next year, and maybe get 50 people in the class, and they kind of multiply and spread that knowledge, it'll be a lot better on how people interpret what we do or what we don't do. And I'll pause there. If y'all got recommendations for anything you want to add to that, just let me know when you can. I know we got a lot going on right now, but I'm trying to get that to you, not the next meeting, not November's first meeting, but the next meeting. You will have the actual material going to be in the course. All right. And I'll pause there if any questions on that.
I think this is awesome. We need lunch and learns
Yes.
where individuals can come in and kind of get a civics class
Yes.
something that used to be offered that's not offered as much now in schools, in the high school and middle school areas. I see the children in kindergarten and primary school, they're actually learning who their leaders are and that kind of thing. So I think that's really good.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Okay. Are there any other questions from the commission, Mr. Mayor? Before we-
Commissioner, do you
sir.
have any questions? I don't have any. Okay.
All right, we have last for the discussion items. We have from community improvement, Mr. Linwood Coleman. He's going to get a quick update on where he is as far as some workforce housing development for the city. Ms. Coleman, if you will.
Good evening. It's a
Good
pleasure to
evening.
be here. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. And many of you all know the Bailey Street redevelopment. It addresses us building 16 homes for low, moderate, and workforce development housing. In it, and I'm of course playing with technology here. In it is, as they move forward to help me out a little bit, I'm bringing back a proposed request for the splash funds. As you know, that area truly needs a facelift. So we're asking for a couple of things from the city. One, as we had a community meeting back in July of this year, the community came out in full force. We had approximately 80 some residents come out to support what's happening next. And with it, they asked the normal questions that communities ask. They turned back around and they wanted to know, what are you going to do? When are you going to do it? And here are the problems that we had prior to. And I'm just scanning through this because this document is just a revision of the one we had before, and we can electronically send it to you all, the members of the board and staff leadership. In it, they brought up some glaring concerns, and we'd like to thank again the mayor, the city manager, and deputy city manager for coming out and supporting us in that meeting. We turned around, and as you can see, those are our members that actually came. Some of them came here for that meeting. The community was concerned about rodents. They were concerned about asbestos, how it would be taught. The property would be, as we would say, demolished. And we tried to answer all of those questions. We came back and we talked with the city management, and we asked them for some support because some of these issues went all the way back to 2009. And we got some support with it. As we and any other project, we were told to wait for a couple of things to happen. One, how we would address the rodent issue to make sure that the community felt comfortable once we started the demolition process. How we would then address the asbestos. These are important things to communities when they've already had issues in the past. So what we did, we sat down and talked with them. As you all may remember, some of you who have been here, there is certain grant funding we received. It's called SID, from the East Crescent, and it's in the documents that we will make sure you receive, that gave us $500 and some odd thousand toward infrastructure and demolishing the project. This property came from the land bank. And in our application, we clearly addressed the fact that the front load of the project had to do with grant funding. What does it cover? I have brought some documents that I can make sure get in your hands before the evening is over that shows that permitting, zoning, design, engineering, and architect are the front load of the project. As with any federal funds, there comes stipulations that go with it. We have been told that, and it's documented, that we could not start the project until those funds were released. And we're not the only, it's all over the country, this infrastructure money. They've kept changing the dates. We had a groundbreaking in July, but the funds were not released. And just like in any other grant funding project, you find that one, and I want to keep this moving so people can keep looking. This is the deed, so you'll know where the property is. In any other project, after 8 or 9 months, You have to give new timelines, new documents, the whole gamut in order to receive those funds. Because after 8 months, things change, costs rise, the timeline changes. You have changes in regards to being able to get the staff that you currently had at that time. All of that has been documented now. I went and talked with our zoning department. I've also made sure that documents are going to be given to the land bank as that will substantiate this instead of just having conversation. But this project is very important to the community. It's important to legacy because it provides that opportunity for the community to see what federal, city, and land banks can work together to improve a community. Now, you said, well, why are you here again, Mr. Coleman? Because I didn't get what I wanted the first time. We wanted some of the splash money, and you said, well, we can't do anything at this point. Well, we're back at that point again. And the point that we're looking to make is one, we want curb appeal, and we want some assistance in putting the new road into that community. When this project is completed, it'll cost the city $1 and it's back into your hands again. We won't own it. It'll be yours. Taxes, all of that will be yours. So with that, we're asking for a partnership and some investment into this project. As you see here, that is the property and the parcel and how it will be laid out. I also show the benefits that come with it. There are incentives and tax incentives that come to the city that allow workers and the construction companies, because we've tried to keep all the business here. Your dollars, the dollars that are made, stay right in Waycross. The infrastructure detail. I know all of you know LJA Building Inc. He has brought together a team, a collaborative, to address all of the issues in the construction component of it. And as you see here, it is lined out all the cost that would be incurred in doing this project. And I'm scanning through it quickly, but you have a copy, so that's not an issue. So what we're asking is that you assist us in that process with the splash money that we know that is there. And this is the timeline. Everyone has wanted this project to start in January of this year. The federal government is the federal government, folks. And you know how federal money goes. And with it, we have had that timeline changed on us at least 5 times. The new timeline that we were given is now November, right after the fiscal budget closeout, which means between the 15th of October and the 30th of October, they will now release those funds in November. This documentation we've also passed on to zoning, which plays a dual role as executive director for the land bank, and he will ensure, that department will ensure that the commissioners receive those documents. I'm opening up for a brief minute for y'all to ask some questions because we will be here tomorrow to ask for a hard number. The numbers that you see there, we're trying to lock them in, and legacy will make up the difference in any funds that are given or not that way I didn't say that right, or the funds that we ask for that we don't get. We believe that this project is important because there is a great demand for what? Housing. We would love to do other projects here. And this partnership, we feel would be crucial to us doing this. We will always, where the services and resources allow, we will always utilize Waycross companies to do the work. I believe funds should always stay within the city. With that, if there are no questions, if there are questions, I'm more than willing to answer.
Commissioner, do you have any questions of Mr. Coleman? Commissioner Nelson.
Give me, because I wasn't here back in July, whatever.
Yes.
What was the amount that you requested?
We asked for $900,000 of the splash fund. This will be a brand new street going inside this project. It's a cul-de-sac. And with it, we wanted curb appeal because one, we want to show what it should look like. And that will be more appealing in doing projects in the future. Curb appeal is important. And in getting that money, there's another incentive to it as well. We would like to take money that you all provide for us. In return, some of our profit we will put in providing more incentives in the homes. The homes will range between 250 some thousand to 285 is what we provide. We agreed with the governor's office to do. In it, it will provide 1 to 3% financing for low, moderate, qualified family members to buy those homes. Of course, VA and all the other tools for financing are available as well. We also have a financial literacy program, which is done by totally free. If they go through that program, there will be incentives given to them once they complete it. So we're trying to make sure that it's a holistic program. $25,000 to $30,000 for finishing that program goes into their hands or closing, and it is a fixed loan for 30 to 33 years.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
At what point would you require those funds from us? At what stage?
Well, right now we have the beginning stages of that fund.
So you
And-
really won't need our portion until after everything's.
Well, it would come at a phase in the project which is identified here in the paperwork that you would receive. The initial phases would be paid upfront by the federal government.
Mhm.
And that would show design, permits that have to be approved, engineering, and the first stages of demolition, and as well as the asbestos. Then as we slide into infrastructure, that's when we would want those funds. So all the pre-work would be done. And then when we start going into the ground, because we've actually found out there's some other funding that would be very beneficial. As you know about infrastructure, there is a great need to now put our cabling and all of that underground. There is some more funds we just found out. So some of this delay has been a positive for us. And that also means that the government wants to see this happen. So if I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Any questions?
I just got one question.
Yes.
So you said that the city will have everything coming to them.
When all the homes are sold, we then, as the process would have it, we give it back to the city for $1.
$1.
Yes, ma'am. Put that on record. So if there's any other questions, okay.
Thank you, Ms. Cole.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to proposed resolutions. We have two. And before I turn it over to the city attorney, I need to say a few things about these two resolutions. I've kind of mentioned the importance of making decisions on the roads, just based off of time, scale, and economy, competing with so many other cities trying to recover with their roads and streets due to the storm damage. The other resolution is to approve the city budget. And prior to the storm, we was already pushing it, but now, because as you know, with the reimbursement process from FEMA, I have to pay for everything up front, and then again reimbursed at a later date. We're just not getting the money from last year from that storm. I can only imagine how long is it going to take to get this reimbursement for this storm. Just for some numbers, I want to say we did thousands of gallons on of diesel usage that we didn't budget for, and fuel is quite costly. We got to pay for that like right now, and a few more things. This pickup that's going to cost us too, and I'm kind of concerned that if we keep on if we don't get the budget passed pretty soon, I can't get a clear picture of what we actually have. Additionally, our audit should have started in October, audit prep. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just prep y'all. We probably won't make the audit time this year. And y'all know when we don't make the audit time, we don't qualify for other grants. So I need to say that I thought about it all weekend, and we can't keep whatever needs to be done now. I've answered every question possible with this budget. but we cannot just keep just having multiple discussions on it and not going anywhere. It's going to be detrimental to us the longer we go. And I just don't want to put us in a situation like we were when I first got here, where we didn't qualify for any of the grants because we had missed the mark in the time. I don't want to stress out the finance department, which is going to happen anyway, because I still want to try to meet these milestones because we need that additional funding. And I definitely don't want to, start pulling money from the operational fund, which I'm about to start doing to pay some of this stuff until we get a clear picture. And to do that, just letting the commission know now, it will probably be required. I'm talking about as soon as next week. Let's shut down a couple of days just to save fuel and man hours. And I just need y'all to understand that. Like I said, it's been 6 months now, so we halfway into the budget year, and got to start making some decisions just to make sure we can get through the whole year. And like I said, it probably might have been possible had the storm not come, but it kind of changes everything at this point in time. So I have talked to the city attorney about any emergency powers to figure this out if we need to, and other means to get the budget passed beyond us if we need to, only because we cannot take a chance, especially not next month or the month after that, trying to get this whatever reason, because it's just going to cost our citizens a lot more money that they don't have, And then I would hate to, cut down on services, but that's something we're going to look at, just because like the fuel alone is killing us. Just, I know everybody probably can't see how those 2 weeks, but you got to think we was putting fuel in every generator we had, and that was quite expensive. And then we bought a lot of extra stuff to support the citizens here that was not budgeted for. So I do y'all understand that for these 2 resolutions. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's unfortunate we have everybody here today. Hopefully everybody's here tomorrow. But if not, we go another week, then I won't be able to wait till November. We'll have to make some immediate changes next business day. If I know, we can't. If I know we got to wait till November, then next week we might open up the first couple of days. It'll be reduced hours and reduced services. And I'll pause there. And if the city attorney wants to further explain anything, we have any questions, we can go from there, Mr. Mayor.
Well, if you would go ahead and then I think the questions will come thereafter.
Well, I think the city manager has done a thorough job in explaining the purposes of both resolutions, along with Greg Smith, the finance director. The first resolution is simply to approve the 2024 paving project for the 10 streets that were discussed. And the second resolution, of course, is to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget. I think tomorrow there's a commission public hearing that's scheduled for 3. And then it is anticipated that the budget will be voted on at the meeting tomorrow night. And the city manager just gave you his take on what the consequences would be of not passing the resolution.
Very good. Commissioner, did you have any questions or comments?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, sir. So this we go on the budget for, on the list for tomorrow, correct?
Yes, Mr.
And I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're going to have a full panel. I really don't, because there's the personal agendas going on. Why are we here? That's the bottom line. Why are we here? It's clear to me because when I was on the commission earlier this year, we didn't have a full panel. And then once I was removed, we got a full panel. And then they got what they wanted. And now that I'm back and important things need to be done, they're going to go absent again. I would ask their constituents to call them and say, hey, what's going on? Because you can't lie with so much. And it's apparent that they're telling some people some things and some other. Last week we had the budget hearing. Every question was asked. And then you stated again, are there anything else that you're not knowledgeable about? They didn't say anything. Now they're not here because they knew it was coming up again. So, Mr. City Attorney, if they're not here, and which I don't think there will be, what are the alternatives to get this passed?
Well, we'll have to run another 10-day ad and put it back on the next meeting agenda.
So can we have emergency meetings or something that we could call to say, let's say, for instance, a Friday and then maybe a Tuesday, because they're not going to come until it's the time that they have to come without being removed.
Well, the problem is that you have to give 10-day notice to the public.
Okay, we can keep giving 10 days until 10 days run out. That's what I would suggest we do.
Right, because see, the city manager had his public hearing was that last week. That was a rescheduled meeting from the first week of the month. And then this public hearing is the commission's public hearing. And you have to give 10-day notice before you have the public hearing. So if the public hearing doesn't occur tomorrow, then you're faced with having to give another 10-day notice.
10-day notice. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Bennett, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with Commissioner Nelson, so I'm not going to continue to elaborate so much on it. But we can see that this is personal. We be sick, but we force our way to come to these meetings. But now that this budget need to be passed and we say we love city workers, we love the finance, we love the fire department, we love the police department, we just so love public works. Show them. Stop saying it, show them. Let's pass this budget. There's no reason that this should be 2 commissioners and the mayor. Would you think that the mayor, you're afraid that the mayor is gonna break the tie and side with?
That's right.
Exactly. So do you think that the mayor's gonna side with us so you don't show up? This is how you showing the people of Waycross, everybody that you so love and that break their neck out to make sure that whatever business you have is taken care of, your district get more attention. I'm gonna call it how I see it. I'm sorry. This has got to stop. This is personal. This is too personal. We cannot move forward because of the petty stuff. We're living back in 2012, 2010. We need to move forward to 2024, moving forward. We can't even get nothing done. People looking at us. What are we doing? We got a city manager. I don't know what made them think this man gonna risk his career, what he stood for, to let this city fall under. They want to check him on this, they want to check him on that, but they're not checking themselves for what they're doing. This is not acceptable. You want to put the mayor in a situation so people can look at him like he's not doing his job. We want to post on Facebook like we just doing everything when we're not. You want people to think that you home when the storm is here, when you're not, when you're out of town doing other stuff, and you said it yourself, you're out of town when the storm is going on and you got your people feeling sorry for you. No, y'all can remove me, y'all can fire me, but I'm tired. I am tired of this. I really don't care who is their puppet. Stop being their puppet. Stop being their puppet, because you see what they doing to you. I'm sorry. Every police officer, every public works deserve better than this. It's not fair to you all. It's not fair. It's not fair that I come to work, leave here and go to my other job. I be sick plenty of time. Sometimes I walk in here with my face. I'm not feeling good, but I come. This is serious. This affects Waycross, my family, y'all family. It affects everybody. And you wonder why nobody want to come here to Waycross. Because nobody wants to move forward. They want to stay back in the past. They want to stay back in the past. They got a hidden agenda. They want to wait to see who do this, who do that before they pass the budget. That's not acceptable. And if y'all agree with them on that, something wrong with y'all.
Thank you.
Amen.
So,
Back to you.
thank you. So just one of the thoughts that we have when we're doing meetings of this sort, make sure we don't take anything and do personal conversation. Even though I know it's inferred, it's still personal. So we have to be very mindful of our wording.
You're right.
But back to this matter, did we have anything else for tonight?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, and like I say, with I guess a shining light because of the storm, we do have people going around, the contract picking up stuff. So I just want to inform, make sure the commission fully understands the implications to each day that we go. It's going to be a more negative impact on us all long term. And, hope we can get it approved tomorrow and all this goes away. You got to worry about it. And then, but even with then, like I said, we are behind on some things now. And Greg team will catch up with the audit. And then we'll try to get some additional help with the audit so we don't miss opportunity on other funds to help out the city. But like I say, Mr. Mayor, we don't pass it tomorrow, then I will probably just, tell you now, probably need to go back and look at some of our services, kind of cutting back, definitely on fuel usage and a few other things, and then just kind of mitigate that until we get the budget passed.
Understood.
And I'll pass it to the city attorney for his report.
I have nothing further to report on.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. Mayor, the actual city manager's report, it'll be sent to you tomorrow. I haven't had time to review it yet, but it'll be sent tomorrow and be posted tomorrow afternoon. And that's all I have at this time.
Okay. Commissioner, you want to do the last call today? You all finished? Okay, so if there's we don't have a quorum to make a vote, but I'll just go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming.